All right, so
We played in Altensteig
in Germany.
in Germany, very important tournament, very strong one.
Okay.
And it was a very tactical game, this one also.
Matthias Wahls.
Matthias Wahls, yeah.
Wahls.
In that moment, he was considered one of the three most promising young players of Germany, Grandmaster Wahls. E6, C4, C5, and here I played a quiet move, E3. It's also very good. I won a lot of games with E3 because that transposes usually into a Tarash, very pleasant position for white, always a small edge. If you play D5, you transpose in a normal position from Benoni. So, okay, he played D5, knight C3, knight C6, we have a Tarash position here, yeah. And I took in d5. The alternative was to play a3. Is another very good possibility that I won against Anderson, many other, Parma and so on. a3, also very good move. But c takes d5, it's okay. White is always a little bit better. If he wants something, he has to take with the pawn. And as always, we can play against the isolani. White has a small edge because the pawn from d5, for the moment, is isolated,
Yeah.
Okay, bishop e2, again, theory, he took in d4, I took with the knight. Now you see, bishop d6, the pawn from d5 is,
Isolani.
a little bit, hanging like this, Okay, castle, and I put back the knight in f3, everything theory again, until now. And he played rook e8. Now you don't have time to take in d5 because you lose immediately, you lose the queen if you take in d5. Now,
Right.
knight takes d5, queen takes d5,
Yes.
bishop takes h2 check, and you lose the queen.
Yes.
So it's not good, of course. No. So good move, knight b5, I played. No? Knight b5, attacking the bishop. He played bishop b8. Now b3, a6, knight d4. Now the advantage is clear for white, you see. And he played queen d6. And here, I don't know why, I took in c6. I could play quietly bishop b2, clear edge for white, no problem.
Yeah.
White, without any problem, white is much better,
Exactly. Yes.
Now it's not the same because taking in c6, the position is changed. It's not the same. And the pawn from d5 is not isolani anymore,
Can be defended.
Yeah,
There are two pawns.
It's another game right here, you see. Maybe white is still a little bit better, but it's much more complicated than the game that we had before.
So what did happen?
I don't know. I can't explain. It's very, as you
so sometimes
blackout like this. We can say that it was a small blackout, but without any no explanation why.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Bishop b2, bishop g. Now we have another game. We started another game here. So bishop g4, g3. Now we have to be very careful with white because it was immediate threat to take there and mate,
yes.
too. Yeah.
Yes.
So g3, bishop a7. Of course, he plays very well now. It's very clear that black has counterplay, a tactical game. So rook c1, and he played bishop a3, rook e1, knight e4. Okay, very strong, very good game. Bishop f1, bishop g4, bishop g2, knight g5. Okay. By playing here knight g5, he proposed draw. Well, it seems that game is even. Yeah. But I wanted to play because I liked the position and I didn't like the fact that I took in c6 and I changed the game like
you
this.
Were upset on
I was very upset, and so I played against myself a little bit and I said, okay, we have to continue. And I played immediately the move h4. Now again, the position is different because now suddenly the white structure, the pawn structure is changing and we have a small weakness now with white. Maybe in some position he can sacrifice the piece in f2, trying to show you that you have a weakness on the big diagonal, and he can change the position by playing back the bishop in b8, like in our game. So I play h4, he played knight e4, I played queen c2, normal, rook c8, yeah. Now I play knight g5, he has to take the decision now, what to do. He could play bishop f5, that leads to a small edge for white by taking twice in e4, and then we have such a position why white has a small edge for nothing and can play quietly for a win, you see, because the weaknesses from the black position are more important than the weaknesses from the white position. Very small difference, but it's always a little bit better for white. Or play like in our game, this move, which is very tactical, f5, and now the position is very, very complicated. It's not clear who is better, because now I played in this position queen d3, provoking the next combination. It seems that black has fantastic game here already by playing the way he played. But in reality, you see, I was preparing a very big surprise for black. So he took in f2. It seems that it's very, very dangerous. Now you have to take. And now bishop b8. Now he's threatening in a few moves to have fantastic attack, against the black king.
Yeah.
Now you have no defense in g3. If you want to defend by playing e4, it's even worse because you open completely the game. Black can take quietly with f. Has the white king is very bad in f2. You open also the f file. White is probably lost after e4. So it's not. And now, in such a complicated position, we have such a surprise. Rook takes c6. Can you imagine?
So that pawn c6 was very important, actually.
Yeah, finally. Yeah. But in reality, it was much better to play immediately bishop b2. That was clear edge for white. Okay, so by chance, the combination is excellent. The combination is correct and very good for white. So the game is forced. Now, if he takes in g3, after king f1, white wins in any position. King, he has no check, and if white has, time to give one check in d5, it's finished. The attack is terrible, and black is lost in any position. So, okay, the combination from our game is forced. Okay, rook takes c6. He took with the rook. Queen takes, better than taking with the bishop. Probably bishop takes in d5 is also winning, but more complicated, much more complicated. So I took with the queen. He played the best move, rook e6. And now, again, the second surprise, after rook c1. No? What did I play? Oh, no, king f1.
Yeah.
Now, you can imagine, I sacrificed the rook, and in such a complicated position, I played a quiet move, stop move, king f1. Now the position is lost for black in any position. Black is lost because of this terrible pin.
Yeah, usually the attack continues
The
with
attack
force.
continues. But it was very funny, rook down for white, and such a move back with the king.
Yeah.
So you don't have any check. So what to do? So the game continues forced again. And after queen e7, the last surprise, rook c1. I mean, you don't take back immediately, you play rook c1. Now the game is clear, because if you take in c1, we have the game that we played.
Yes.
He doesn't have time to play rook d6 because rook c8 check wins immediately.
Okay, so
he has to take in c1.
Yes.
Because rook c1 threatens also to take immediately in c6. It's, terrible, of course.
True.
So he has to take. Now you have to take back with the bishop.
Okay, so if he takes your queen, then you have this check here, and then you have this check here, right?
Yes. No, that was immediately winning here. After rook d6, bishop rook c8 check wins by force in one move. Yeah. So he had to take. I took back with the bishop, and the only move f4. Okay, f4 gives a pawn. We can take back the exchange later on, but we have an endgame which is winning for white, by force, because now I was in such a big time trouble that I took normally with the g pawn. It was easier to win the endgame by taking with the e pawn, but the e pawn I thought is a little bit too much, because the open file, maybe something could happen,
Yes.
So I took back with the pawn.
But why was better with the e? Why was
because we have the compact position with all your pawns for endgame. Endgame is, if you have 3 against 2 and 2 against 1 here, is now counterplayed all for black. Black could resign in any case. But in in such a complicated position, big time throw, it's better to play safe like this. So I took with the G pawn. So now everything is clear. I took back the exchange, he took back with the bishop, and now the last surprise, different color bishops, I played bishop a3. Now if you take in a3, it's terrible attack, as always. Different color bishop that wins by force in a few moves, So he had to defend such a position with only move queen f6. Queen f6. Now back in b2, I tried to see what happens again, Again, if he takes in b2, is lost in a few moves. So again, he played the only move, bishop takes d5, and now we have this endgame. I took back in d5 for check. And his last hope is to keep maybe the position in such different color endgame,
Maybe a draw.
bishop and maybe a small chance for draw, but the game is completely winning for white. And we see the demonstration now. 2 pawns up is too much. So I played b4, now a3, now the last hope, because white is threatening, bishop b7 or bishop c4, winning the pawn. So he preferred to play, first of all, a5 to have at least the diagonal from c5, So I took in a5, he took in a3, I played a6, he played bishop c5, the only move now. And now e4, now everything is clear. We have to realize the advantage, but it's very easy because the pawn is too far. And we have time to come with the king, to come on the other side also, to have another free pawn, and the endgame is very easy to win. So we play until the end, and we put the pawns on the best position. So here bishop, king e2, f5, and we come quietly with the king. And bishop b6, and of course bishop c4. Now he has to take in e4 because the only move now. So, and I took back with the king, and now it's clear that white king is coming to g6, and it's very easy. Okay, he continued a little bit, but he could resign in any position, So, okay. Now bishop b3. So now we push f6. The only move, king f8, f6, Zugzwang. Very easy to see. King there, and now king g7, he resigned. Now, we threaten check in f7 and mate, no? I mean, queen in f8.
Yeah.
The only move here is to play bishop d4. And after bishop d4, we play a7. No, a7, he has to take in a7, f7 check, and queen.
And queen.
Yeah. Well, the endgame is very easy to win, of course.
Yeah.
But until the endgame was very funny, all kind of combinations, like this.
In the end, because of that
rook,
c6
rook
pawn,
sacrifice, everything was very funny. No, the endgame is very easy to win.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Very crazy game,
True.
in some moments.
Thank you.
Yeah.